Hey, what is up, guys? This is Lemillion Nation coming to you again with another video. And now I have the manga viewer with me today. We are going to do a breakdown of chapter 307, and also we're going to do a prediction for chapter 308. All right, guys? All right, manga viewer, introduce yourself to the fans.
Hey everyone, it's the manga viewer. If you know me, I did Primal Might versus Primal for One trailer, and I'm also dubbing a lot of chapters in the Attack on Titan fandom.
All right, guys, great. So, thanks a lot for joining us, manga viewer. We're going to see how best we can actually do this recording.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm really honored to be here with the Lemillion Nation. You're an awesome guy, by the way. Really support your videos.
Thanks so much. I appreciate all the support. Alright, so in chapter 307, let's do a breakdown of it. So, with chapter 307, we see Shindo and his girlfriend there. They're trying to actually get the citizens that wouldn't actually evacuate back on track. They're trying to get them to the right designated areas, to their school Shiketsu High, in order to protect them. But these citizens, they're not getting on that train. They don't want to actually leave the protection of their city, their district, to heroes who failed them before. So now they're using various items, support items, in order to fight the villains. But they're doing more harm than good. And honestly, they wouldn't actually last against someone who came from Tartarus prison,
Yeah,
or anyone
definitely.
else in the prior, yeah, or anyone else in the prior liberation arc.
I think it's just a thing with the citizens right now because they have lost almost all the faith of the heroes since All Might have retired. Like the symbol of peace, the Unbreakable, have stood down and handed the ring to another one, who's now have made a lot of bad things in the past. Like Endeavor right now, he held a lot of responsibility and the citizens in general, they're not having the same trust back then when All Might was there and he was like telling them, I am here, don't worry. And now they just have to watch on their own and be careful of everything that's going around them. So I think that's why the citizens right now don't believe or don't they don't hear what the hero says.
Yeah, they can't see a symbol out there to actually protect them.
Yeah.
Alright, guys, so let's continue. So, with this now, I think that if All Might hadn't lost his powers and he actually lost to a villain, or actually died to a villain, it would actually be catastrophically worse than right now.
Definitely.
The heroes basically now, even though it's very bad, it's not just damage control, it's a crisis situation. It's like the world is basically ending. Like, at least Japan basically over there is in chaos. It reminds me of a scene in Gotham where when you see where all of Gotham City was overrun by villains, and Batman was just starting out there, as in like Bruce Wayne wearing the costume and thing and trying to fight, protecting everyone. This reminds me of that situation. Deku actually came out, as you said earlier, manga viewer, when he actually stepped out with his feet. Do you want to tell the people about that part?
Yeah, sure. I actually, when I saw the last panel of Deku just going in and saving Shindo, I remembered the first scene, or like one of the first scenes in season one, where Deku was watching All Might saving citizens, and he just stepped out, handling about 10 people on his back, and he says, "Fear not, I am here." The same pose actually resembles All Might's stance, but the difference is Deku is not smiling. He doesn't have the same energy or emotions that All Might have. I think that's a really cool parallel that Horikoshi draws.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. You're the first person I heard come up with that Easter egg right there. I think that should be like bookmarked to you, something like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when Deku actually stepped out like that, it was reminiscent of All Might, and I think that it would have been, well, the people are there behind them watching too, because while Shindo was being defeated by Muscular, the villain, none of the citizens. This is a point to note. None of the citizens that were there that saying that they can actually defend their city. None of them came to help Shindo
Yeah.
when he was being defeated by that villain. None of them stood up at that point and actually help. I guess that time where they saw when a real villain actually came, they couldn't actually do anything about it. So I think when Deku actually defeats Muscular and they see what a real villain can do, because Muscular is not even one of the strong. Well, he's very strong,
Yeah.
but he's not on that top tier list.
He's like an A
Consider
tier, I think.
Yeah,
in terms of the villains in My Hero Academia. He's just a
yeah,
really tough guy, and imagine like he's even more pissed than he was back then because he lost
yeah,
to a 15-year-old kid.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
So I
think
think that. I'll continue.
yeah, I think sorry about that. I think that what also made Muscular more like angry is that he failed also to kill someone. Because
Yeah,
Muscular is one of the villains out there that really want to kill people because he enjoys it, and he just enjoys the suffering of people. So when he actually couldn't kill Kota because of a 15-year-old kid, which is Deku, standing up to him or like stood up to him, it made him like really pissed and really angry. So I think that's part of what's happened to him and why he's more pissed and wants just like to slaughter everyone around him. I think that's part of it.
yeah, I think so as well. When he's actually there like that, and he's actually remembering Deku, remember the voice of Deku. When he actually came out, he said, "Oh, he remembers that voice. He doesn't recognize him where he looks right now because he's totally different. Plus, he's wearing his costume now,
Yeah,
but he knows the voice."
he remembers the pain that 1 million% punch still handles on his face. It's still on his face,
Yeah.
and he's about to get another one, I think.
This coming chapter, I think that Deku is gonna actually show us the fruits of all of what he did in the war. I think that eventually he's gonna what he could do in the war is around 40 to 45%, like comfortably. And then he talked to the vestiges and everything. And then he had 1 month time skip. We don't even know how he healed up to come out of the hospital. I don't know exactly how they did it. So I think that eventually, I think that at this point, Deku may be able to use, well, at least 50 to 60% of One for All, because he's in good contact with all of the vestiges and so on right now. So I think he can use a good amount of One for All right now, probably 60, and then over another period of time, he'll be able to use around 70 when he's actually getting ready to fight Shigaraki and All for One. What were you saying earlier?
Yeah, I really have just like to admire Deku's strength. If you look at the in chapter 78, I believe, where Deku fought against Muscular, he just like struggled so much to deliver the 1 million% punch, and now he just like smacked him right into that. I think he just delivered like 40 or 30% of it. And I don't think a lot of time has passed from the hospital. I think like about a month maybe or something, since
Yeah.
it says April. And yeah, I think the bandages might be around. I still be around Deku's arms. Some people have suggested that Deku's arms might have like the same gauntlet that Melissa made in Two Heroes to keep his arms intact and in place. So I think that's a really cool theory. I have also like a really cool theory that Deku have actually unlocked the sixth user quirk. And the reason for that is when we saw him, actually, when I saw the leaks, I was like wondering why does he have all this smoke around him? Like he's not like All Might, he's not bluffing or anything. He have a lot of smoke around him, so I think that's really have really cool similarities between the sixth user and him. Maybe the sixth user Kanji have to do something with smoke or anything. I don't know, but I think that's a really cool parallel or like a really cool theory to think about. I think that Deku might have had unlocked all the quirks since we saw in like 2 chapters ago, where Deku was like basically the last page where the first user said, why don't you cooperate with us to the second and the third user? So I think that their conversation have made a lot of impact on Deku that made him to actually leave the school. Maybe they have explained their past to him. Maybe they have like explained what's happened between them and All for One that made Deku to be aware, and he had to be like, you know what, I have to leave this. And let's not to forget that All Might is with Deku. Like Deku is not alone, so they probably have trained together. Maybe in this like past month where he left the hospital, something like this might have happened actually. What do you think?
Yeah, I think something like that happened. I think that more than likely the second and third users explained their past and their quirks as well, because the first user was saying to them that, look, you guys need to talk to Deku as well so that he can better understand what your quirks are and have a better handle of the power that we all share. Because if Deku actually unlocks their quirks and maybe they are towards the wall like that, because it stood out. All of the other users of One for all the other users of One for All, they were there talking to Deku. They were towards the wall as if they did something bad. They're probably ashamed. Maybe there's a theory going around that they are Bakugo and Kirishima, like some time travel
Yeah, yeah.
thing. Yeah, but
Uh,
I think that
I think that's a really cool theory. Turtle Quirk have actually talked about it like a year ago, but there's actually a really cool Easter egg that I found. When you read the chapter in the Vestiges, and when they show you the pictures of the Vestiges, actually, the second user looks a lot like Bakugo, but the third user looks a bit like Ida's family. There's like on his shoulders and shoulder pads, he have like some sort of tubes sort of thing that might be like an engine or something. So I think since the Lita's family have a long history around the quirks and everything, and they are really famous since they have a lot of heroes like Ida's brother, for example, and Ida and their past. I think it's a really cool parallel, or like maybe they have something in common. So I think the third user might have something to do with Lita's family.
yeah, that was a very cool Easter egg.
Yeah,
I think that if they actually do have something in common with Ida's family, it would be good. It would be a good it would be a good feat to add to Deku's quirk library. Could I call it that? Deku's quirk library.
yeah,
I mean, like running fast like that and using One for All. That would be really
that would be dope.
effective.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like
and then
imagine
like
he's already fast with One for All. Like we saw All Might speed when he's going not even 100%. So imagine like Deku with even like an engine or something. That would be a really cool thing. So what do you think the outcome of the fight will be? I know that it's going. I know that we know that Deku will win, obviously. But do you think like he's going to start like to use the second and the third user? I honestly think like when he's fighting Muscular, he will use a different technique than just like using the raw power of One for All, not like smashing him through his fist or something. I think he's going to use more of a technique type. Like he might use the Black Whip to grab him and then maybe punch him, or like use the smoke to cover him, or like make him unconscious. I'm not really sure, but I think the second and he will start to use the six quirks that he have in order to defeat Muscular. I don't think he's going to use like 100% of his raw strength over and over and over, because he have learned his lesson, and he's not fully prepared, I guess, for using 100%, since his arms, are still injured and stuff like that. What do you think?
yeah, I think that Deku will use more technique types. Like he'll be a more technique type fighter for the time being until he can. Well, if he's healed up properly, maybe he will be able to use his quirk at probably around safely at around 50-60%, maybe as in with the smashes. But if he doesn't just use those, I think he would use Black Whip, Float, and the other users' quirks. And this leads me to say that with the second user's quirk, we don't know what it is, but maybe why they were towards the wall like that is because how their quirks were. Their quirks were something that allowed them to kill a lot of persons, and they were heroes, so they didn't want to. So Deku probably left UA High School in order to fight the villains. But he wanted to fight the villains as in One for All and Shigaraki. He wanted to actually fight Shigaraki effectively because he couldn't actually control those quirks as yet. They told Deku what their quirks were, so Deku left the school in order to actually use those quirks in a safer manner. He knows what they are, and if they actually unlock explosively, like with Black Whip, they would
There
hurt
would
a
be a
lot of
mess,
persons.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think that the battle between Muscular and Deku, and after it, I think he's going to like Shindo is going to look up and he's going to be like All Might or Deku. I think that there's going to be a funny thing like this, or like a really cute thing, and then Deku will disappear, or like he will check if everyone is safe, and then he will disappear because he's kind of like a vigilante now. If you read
Yeah.
the My Hero Academia Vigilantes, you know that those type of heroes just like do the job and then just go off or run off. So I think he's going to do that in order to not get the media's attention and stuff like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that he's gonna actually run off like that as well too, and then he wouldn't really want too much attention on himself. For even though Shigaraki has the search quirk, I don't think he really wants Deku wants so much attention on himself, where the villains know exactly where he is. and then they would actually start coming more in droves to actually find him. Or maybe he doesn't want his friends to actually find out exactly where he is to actually probably try and come and help him and then be in danger. So I think that he'll move off quickly.
Yeah,
I think that he'll defeat Muscular with relative probably like, it'll be less difficulty than it actually had before. Probably around low
maybe just
difficulty.
one punch, and then just like you will throw him away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's actually a really cool advantage to Deku now that he have unlocked the fourth user quirk, which is danger sense. I think he's like sort of like a Spider-Man sort of thing when he can't predict the punch and where's it coming from. So I think that's a really huge advantage for him. Like just imagine someone who can predict danger and knows where the danger is coming from. That's a huge advantage. And added to all those things, he's a powerhouse at the moment. So I think that's a really cool, thing to think about.
Yeah, I think so as well. When Deku actually finishes with all of this, I think they'll probably even go back to where All Might is, wheresoever they're staying. They'll evacuate the citizens and then probably go back to where All Might is and discuss more things about. And then we'll probably learn what the second and third users' quirks are. Maybe
Probably.
they'll
Yeah.
actually introduce them.
hmm
Yeah,
Maybe they
they'll
will
introduce them.
introduce them like in the fight, in the middle of the fight. Deku
Yeah,
will use like an explosion or something, and then a panel will show up. The second user quirk, it's an explosion or something. I think that would be cool. Kind of like how the TV show introduces the new characters.
yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
So, you have any more predictions of what you think 308 will offer to us?
Um, I don't know. I think, like for most likely, uh, it might like continue off with Deku, or like it might shift back to another characters, like maybe Bakugo and Shoto, maybe, or like it might shift to the villains since we haven't seen them in a while. Maybe it will shift like to Shigaraki, sensing a huge power or something, or like them coming after Muscular have been defeated. So yeah, I think that's what most likely is going to happen. Either it's going to continue off with Deku, or like it will shift to other perspective of the characters.
Yeah, I think so as well. Alright, guys, so those were our predictions of what chapter 308 is going to offer us. I hope most of our predictions are correct, and let us know what you think down in the comment section. Please head over to the Manga Viewers channel, give him a subscribe, and also check out his description and give him comments down in this comment section as well. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you think. And this is Lemillion Nation and the Mango Viewer
Thank
signing
you so
out.
much. Signing out.